Good evening, everyone. The Tuscaloosa City Council will now come to order. We're going to begin tonight's meeting with a prayer, and then we ask that you remain standing for our Pledge of Allegiance. Bow our heads, please. Dear God, bless our proceedings tonight. Give us the wisdom to know what is just and the strength to do what is right. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do I hear a motion that we approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second. It's been moved and second to approve the minutes. Voting, Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
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 Minutes stand approved. Before I have an announcement, I'm going to ask Councilor Crowe has a special announcement tonight. Mr. Crowe, if you will take it from here.
I'd like to ask my friends at Rosensteels to come up, please. Tonight, Mr. Mayor and fellow councilmen, I would like to honor Elizabeth Rosensteel of Northridge High School, who was the girls' state 7A wrestling champion this year. Elizabeth began wrestling a little over 2 years ago. She was introduced to the sport through a friend who suggested she check out the new girls' team at Northridge High School. Thanks to the vision of Coach Love wanting to have a girls' team in addition to the established boys' wrestling team and the support of the administration at Northridge High, Elizabeth tried it in November of 2021, and she was hooked on it. She continued to work with Coach Love during each subsequent season, as well as training the off-season to compete throughout the spring and summer. She did that through regional and national levels. Her performance at those tournaments outside of high school season led to a national ranking, impressively, of 30th in the country. Last month, she competed for Northridge at the AHSSA Girls State Wrestling Championship. She earned a #1 seed through her performance during the 2023-2024 high school season. The rounds leading up to the medal rounds were contested on Thursday, January 18th at Thompson High. She won each match that day, which placed her in the championship on Friday, January the 19th. In the finals, she faced Kimber Alford of Daphne High School. The match went 3 rounds, and Elizabeth won the state championship for the 145-pound weight class by a 9-7 decision, giving her a final 34-3 high school season record. She plans on training and competing throughout this next year of her senior season with hopes of continuing on with the sport in college. We are honored that you are here tonight, and we are so proud of you, and I'd just like to ask everybody to give you a round of applause, and we'll take some pictures. Elizabeth, would you like to say something?
I would. First off, I'd like to thank the Tuscaloosa City Council and Mayor Walt Maddox for having me here tonight for this recognition of my state championship. It wouldn't be right if I didn't recognize the fact that this title is not won by me alone. My high school coach, Coach Love, and my teammates are all a part of this win. Also, my club coaches and teammates over in Alabaster are a big part of my progress in this sport. And of course, my parents, who not only support me and encourage me, but also drive and fly me all over the country so that I can continue to compete in the sport I love. I'm looking forward to competing in Virginia Beach for nationals in April and representing Tuscaloosa as best I can. Again, thank you for this honor.
It's so good to celebrate things like this. Congratulations. Let's get our picture on one thing we can take a state championship. Matthew, can you make a picture of us?
Yes, sir. I'll be glad to.
So now what's next?
He said, make picture. Make.
Does that sound good? I'm so proud.
Thank you. Congratulations again.
give them another round of applause. Any other council announcements?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, and to the council and to this waiting body. Weeping Mary Missionary Baptist Church will have their inaugural Senior Citizen Connect Day on Monday, February 19th, 2024, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. in the church activity building. The Tuscaloosa participants will be a City of Tuscaloosa-led hazard abatement program, the COLA Agency, EMS Prevention Services, Power for Life, Hunter Creek, just to name a few Tuscaloosa bills. So we're inviting all of the community out to come and be a part of the Senior Citizen Connect Day at Weeping Mary Baptist Church.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Any other council announcements tonight? Okay. Council, as I discussed briefly with you, I would like to know if there's a motion to move the revocation, business license revocation hearing to after auditing accounts on the council's agenda.
So moved.
It's been moved and second to move the business license revocation hearing to following auditing accounts. Voting, Mr. Lanier.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion passes. And for those in the audience, what this will do is allow us to get through the entire agenda and then hold the revocation hearing at the end of tonight's agenda. So do we have any agenda item comments by citizens?
No, sir.
No unfinished business. Consent agenda. Clerk.
This approves items A and B on the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and second to adopt the consent agenda. Voting, Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
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 Consent agenda is adopted. Public hearings. Clerk.
This approves a Class 2 lounge retail liquor license package for Bravo 9 in Tuscaloosa.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and second. Mr. Mills.
All right, good evening, Mayor and Council. This is ABC Alcohol Application 24-014 for Bravo Investments LLC DBA Bravo 9, located at 1402 Paul W. Bryant Drive. These are the hours of operations. This is an area review of the proposed location. All my reports have been filed with the City Clerk Office. Officer Champion will give his report, followed by the applicant to answer any questions.
Officer Champion.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. For the listed address, we have no incidents.
Any questions for either Mr. Mills or Officer Champion? Okay, do we have the applicant or applicant's representative here? If you would, please come forward and give your name and address.
My name is Nizar Batada. I'm representing Bravo Investment LLC, and my address is 1402 Paul Bryant Drive.
Okay, any questions for the applicant?
What type of store is it?
This is a convenience store and a liquor store.
Say again?
Convenience store and a liquor store.
And it's at 14th Avenue and Bryant Drive?
It's used to be old JD's.
So I thought we were going to start bringing these before the Public Safety Committee to be screened before bringing them to full council.
The on-premises come before.
The on-premise.
The off-premises stated as default.
All right. Thank you very much. I don't have any other questions.
Any other questions for the applicant? Thank you very much. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone here wishing to speak for or against the lounge retail liquor license Class 2? Seeing none, voting, Mr. Lanier.
Yes.
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 Application is approved. Good luck. Clerk.
This will approve an off-premises retail beer license for Handle Delivery in Tuscaloosa.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and second. Mr. Mills.
Okay, Council Mayor, this is ABC Alcohol Application 24-015A for Handle Delivery Incorporated, DBA Handle Delivery. They're applying for retail beer off premises only and retail table wine off premises only. The proposed address is at 618 14th Street, Tuscaloosa, Alabama 35401. The hours of operation are Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 2 a.m., Sunday from 12 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. This is an area review of the proposed location. All my reports have been filed with the City Clerk Office. Officer Champion will come and give his report, followed by the applicant to answer any questions.
Officer Champion.
For the listed address, we have no incidents, and the police department has no objections.
Any questions for Mr. Mills or Officer Champion? Okay, the applicant or applicant's representative would come forward and please give your name and address.
Yes, my name is Amanda Schaffner. My address is 809 School Terrace, Birmingham, Alabama, 35235, and I'm the attorney.
Any questions?
Sure, can you tell us a little bit how the business works?
Excuse me?
How the business works?
They, I think, hope to be a delivery service, but for right now, they'll be operating as their own off-premises beer and wine.
And if that change takes place, is there any change in licensing? Mr. Mills? So is this group hopes to become a delivery service?
Yes, sir.
If that comes, does this take care of it, or do they have to change their licensing any?
No, sir, this license right here, it'll cover the delivery business, proposed business, because before, the license they had was a different application, different license.
All right.
Any other questions for the applicant? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you.
This is a public hearing. Is there anyone here wishing to speak for or against either one of these applications? Seeing none, voting Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
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 Retail beer off-premises license is approved. Clerk.
This approves an off-premises retail table wine license for handle delivery in Tuscaloosa.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second, Mr. Mills.
Okay, Mayor and Council, this is ABC alcohol application 24-015B for Handle Delivery Incorporated. Handle Delivery, they're applying for retail table wine off premises only. This is the same applicant, same report supply.
Voting Mr. Lanier.
Yes.
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 Retail table wine off-premises license is approved. Good luck. Resolution and ordinances not of a general nature or permanent operation. Clerk.
This authorizes a minor public works contract with Chip Griffith Construction Company for Information Technology Department.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second, voting Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
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 Resolution is adopted. Clerk.
This authorizes a minor public works contract with Chip Griffith Construction Company for the Mercedes-Benz Amphitheater.
Motion.
Second.
Moved and second, voting Mr. Lanier.
Yes.
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 Resolution is adopted. Clerk.
This authorizes the execution of a municipal agency funding contract with Tuscaloosa County EMA.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second, voting Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
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 Resolution is adopted. Clerk.
This will authorize a disbursement from District 1 improvements funds.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second, voting Mr. Lanier.
Yes.
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 Resolution is adopted. Clerk.
This authorizes disbursement from the District 3 improvements funds.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and second, voting Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
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 Resolution is adopted. Clerk.
This approves job class specifications for groundskeeper.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second, voting Mr. Lanier.
Yes.
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 Resolution is adopted. Clerk.
This will authorize Amendment 2 to the 2022 A Warrant Series budget.
Motion.
Second.
Moved and second, voting Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
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 Resolutions adopted. Ordinance of resolutions of a general nature or permanent operation for introduction. Clerk.
This amends Exhibits A and B of Section 1942 of the Code of Tuscaloosa.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and second, voting Mr. Lanier.
Yes.
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 Yes. Call for unanimous consent.
Second.
Moved and second for unanimous consent, voting Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
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 Exhibits are amended. Clerk.
This amends Chapter 2 of the Code of Tuscaloosa.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and second, voting Mr. Lanier.
Yes.
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 Yes. Call for unanimous consent.
Second.
Moved and second, voting Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
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 Codes amended. Clerk.
This declares certain property surplus and authorizes its donation.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and second, voting Mr. Lanier.
Yes.
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 Yes. Call for unanimous consent.
Second.
Moved and second, voting Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
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 Property is declared surplus. Clerk.
This authorizes Amendment 7 to the fiscal year 24 general fund budget.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second, voting Mr. Lanier.
Yes.
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 Yes. Call for unanimous consent.
Second.
Moved and second, voting Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
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 Budgets amended. Auditing accounts.
This authorizes the payment of bills.
Pay Kip's bills.
Pay Kip's bills.
Moved and second, voting Mr. Lanier.
Yes.
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 Resolution is adopted. At this time, do I hear a motion and a second for revoke? Do we need the motion and second?
Do you want me to go ahead and call it in?
Yeah, let's go ahead and call it in, then we'll get
All
moving.
right. This will revoke the business license and privilege to renew the business license of Crew Lounge.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and second. So tonight, before we get into the hearing itself, I wanted to go over the hearing procedure that will be used over the next few minutes. The revocation hearing process that you will see tonight is actually established by City Code Section 733. Though aspects of tonight's hearing may mirror a court of law, this is not a judicial proceeding. As such, I'll be presiding as chair, and I am charged with the duty of maintaining order in this hearing. So how will this hearing follow? The city attorney will present first and will have no more than 45 minutes to present his case. This includes opening statement, presentation of evidence, interviews of witness, and questions from the Tuscaloosa City Council to the city attorney and/or witness. There is no cross-examination. The city attorney's opening statement and presentation of evidence will be from the center podium. Following that, when the city attorney interviews a witness, the witness will be at the center podium, and the city attorney will be at the right podium. We can move to the next slide. So for the licensee or the licensee's counsel, they will have no more than 45 minutes to present their case. This includes the opening statement, presentation of evidence, interviews of witnesses, and questions from the counsel to the witnesses and/or licensee or licensee's counsel. The licensee or their counsel's opening statement and presentation of evidence will be from the center podium. When the licensee or their counsel interviews a witness, the witness will be at the center podium with the licensee or their counsel at the left podium. Next slide. Following the presentations by the city attorney and the licensees, members of the public may address the Tuscaloosa City Council and will be granted up to no more than 2 minutes. A member of the public may only address the council one time. The council may choose to recall a witness for questioning or pose additional questions to the city attorney, the licensee, or the licensee's counsel. At the conclusion of the public hearing, the Tuscaloosa City Council will discuss the revocation in a public forum prior to voting. Next slide. So depending upon the length of the hearing, the chair may call for a recess of proceedings, considering how long it may go tonight. During the recess, there will be no action by or discussions by the City Council. We request that all cellular devices be placed on silence. And the last suggestion that we make to everyone here is that we respect the right to due process. We understand there is an emotional issue on both sides, and many of us have a hard time imagining what many are going through. But it's important that due process works within these chambers, and we all ask that you respect the process and the sanctity of this due process hearing tonight. So with that being said, I am going to now begin the 45 minutes with our city attorney, Scott Holmes.
Good evening, council.
Good evening.
As you know, I come before you tonight on the revocation of 2 business licenses. These were issued to Racked Up LLC, which is doing business as Crew Lounge Tuscaloosa. This is pursuant to Tuscaloosa City Code Section 7-33. Before we start tonight's hearing, I do want to warn members that are here in person, as well as anybody that may be watching this at home. Some of the evidence in this case will be difficult to hear and see. I will play videos that will be difficult to watch and are not suitable for children if you have children watching at home. Mayor, at this time I'd move to admit exhibits A, B, and C. That would be the city's packet as exhibit A, and 2 videos as exhibits B and C that will play during Chief's testimony. Crew Lounge came before this city council on June the 13th of 2013. They came before you for a conditional use variance to operate as a lounge and for an ABC Lounge retail liquor license. Following a public hearing on both of those, the requests were approved. During the hearing, representatives for Crew described how they would operate their business as a higher-end restaurant. They would have a menu consisting of items such as lamb chops, salmon, and lobster mac and cheese. You can see that part of their testimony in the transcript in your packet, I believe on page 9. Crew spent much of the hearing discussing how their owners were members of law enforcement, how that would assure that they would have a peaceful, law-abiding establishment, how they wouldn't even tolerate somebody showing up a couple minutes late, they would fire them. They also made a point to talk about how that meant they were trained in de-escalation. And if something got out of hand, they could de-escalate it before the police even had to be called. You can see that, I believe, on page 10 in your packet. They also told this council that they would operate on a reservation-only system, that every person that came in would have to have a reservation, and those reservations would be limited to 2 hours. And more specifically, Councilman Lanier asked them about how that would work, and they explained to him that since every person would require a reservation, that they could not become overbooked. I believe you can see that on page 13 of your packet. Tonight, you will hear testimony that what the owners of Crew told you and how they told you that they would operate their business in June of 2023 was no longer the case just 6 months later. On the night of January 21st, 2024, while the business was already overcrowded, several security guards, including Aaron Hill, tackled and beat Rashid Little. A Crew employee observes the beating, is standing nearby, does nothing to stop it. A few minutes later, after Rashid Little's been taken outside, escorted from the premises, the same Crew employee is standing beside the Crew security guard, engaged in a verbal altercation with Rashid Little at the time when that security guard shoots and kills Rashid Little. When the police arrive, employees and owners of Crew on scene are not cooperative, and the security guard, Aaron Hill, is gone. Crew later releases a statement taking no responsibility and pinning all the blame for what happened on Aaron Hill, who they call a rogue security guard. But during the couple videos you'll see no efforts by Crew to stop Aaron Hill or the other out-of-control security guards. You'll learn that the company Crew hired isn't even licensed by the Alabama Security Regulatory Board, nor was the security guard Aaron Hill. In their statement, they say his actions went against all of Crew's established guidelines, directions, policies, and expectations, but it was the ownership of Crew that hired an armed felon to work security. The ownership and the employees of Crew violated, aided in violating, and knowingly allowed to be violated the criminal laws of this city and state. Allowing them to continue in business would be dangerous to the public health, safety, welfare, and would constitute a public nuisance. At this time, I call Chief Blankley. Good evening. Could you state your name, please?
Yeah, Chief Brent Blankley.
And how are you employed?
I'm the Chief of Police for the Tuscaloosa Police Department.
As you know, we're here for a business license revocation. Can you tell me if the owners of Crew were served with notice of this hearing?
Yes, sir. There were 3 owners were served on January 31st and 1 owner on February 1st.
And that was more than 10 days before this hearing?
Yes, sir, it was.
And were you employed as the Chief of Police on June the 13th in 2023?
I was.
And did you attend the public hearing for the conditional use in the alcohol license for Crew Lounge in that day in your capacity?
I did.
And can you tell us a little bit about how the owners of Crew said during those meetings they intended to operate their business?
They intended to operate their business as a restaurant. They stated that one of their top priorities would be security. As previously stated, they said that they had members in law enforcement that I believe were correction officers, and they know how to de-escalate situations. They also stated that there's no way they could be overbooked because of their system. You had to have reservations, and that it would block it off, and they would not overbook.
During your time since they opened, have you had an opportunity to observe Crew operating?
I have.
And have they been operating as they stated they would?
No, sir, they haven't. I've went up to Crew on 2 different occasions. The first time was a couple months after they started operating. They were over that night when I walked in. They stated that they didn't have a count. I told them, hey, look, you've got to do it the right way. And then I believe it was New Year's Eve, I also went up there, and they were way over their count. I believe they were about 125. They did not have the count when I walked in. I had to tell them to turn the outside music down. I did not have any officers available to actually count out the business correctly. I told them that night that this was their last warning, and they need to do things the correct way.
And did you respond to a call at Crew on January the 21st of this year?
Yes, sir, I did.
And what was the nature of this call?
A call came out that there was a shooting at Crew, and originally the victim was life-threatening, and he later died.
And Jacob, if you could show the interior picture, please. Can you describe this picture for us?
Yes, sir. This is the inside of Crew. Their occupancy, I believe, is 68. This is well overcrowded. This is very similar to the way it looked when early January where I went in.
And this picture was recovered from their security on the night in question?
Yes, sir, it was.
Once you were on scene, did you make contact with anyone from Crew?
I did. Once I got on scene, 2 of the security guards were outside. I talked to them very briefly. And then I went in and asked for the owner. Mr. Kevin identified himself as an owner. I'm assuming that is Mr. Kevin Davis.
And was Mr. Davis cooperative and helpful as part of the police investigation?
No, sir, he was not. When I went in, I asked for, hey, who is the security guard that's involved in the shooting? He said he didn't know. I told him that I find it hard to believe that he has an armed security guard on his premises, then they do not know who he is. He said the guy ain't been working there very long. He did not know the security company. I asked him if they had any paperwork. He said he did not. He was more interested in playing on his phone, it seemed like, than to answer my questions or talk to me.
Following this incident, I know this incident is being, the homicide is being investigated by the Tuscaloosa Metro Homicide Unit. But following this, was TPD able to view any videos of this evening on social media?
Yes, sir. Videos from this incident started going out very quickly. The next morning, when I went to work, I had our cyber videos and pulled them because of the disturbing images. I wanted to make sure the council, the mayor, saw these videos.
Jacob, could you play the first video exhibit? City of Tuscaloosa
I have a
exhibit?
question.
Yes.
The publicly shared, when you say, is that something filmed by patrons inside?
Yes, sir. It was filmed inside and shared on Snapchat and Facebook. It was nothing that we recovered during the course of the investigation as evidence.
Which video?
Exhibit A, I'm sorry, or Exhibit B, I'm sorry. Excuse me. Before we play the next video, Chief, can you identify the person on the floor in the red pants and the white shirt?
Yes, sir. He was the victim in the shooting.
And that's Mr. Rashid Little? Chicago Bulls sort of outfit. Can you identify him?
Yes, sir. I believe it's Mr. Diedrich. We're unsure at this time if he is an owner or a manager. I've heard both, so I'm unaware of what his official or capacity is in the restaurant.
Mr. Holmes, I apologize. I just wanted to note Mr. Parsons requested to stand at the podium so he could hear the presentation better, and it was granted. Please.
Based upon your experiences with Crew, do you believe that Mr. Dixon, the gentleman in the I think, Chicago Bulls outfit, is associated with Crew?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Jacob, could you play Exhibit C? And is this the same incident from a different angle?
Yes, sir. It is. Yes, sir. The music's off.
Thank you. I don't have any further questions for you, Chief.
Yes, sir, thank you.
At this time, I'd call Marty Sellers. Can you state your name for the record, please?
Marty Sellers,
And how are you employed?
Captain with the Tuscaloosa Police Department, assigned to the Tuscaloosa Violent Crimes Unit.
So you're assigned to the Tuscaloosa Violent Crimes Unit.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
And were you employed in that capacity on January 21st of this year?
I was.
Chief Blankley testified that he responded to a homicide call at Crew on that date. Based upon your capacity with the Violent Crimes Unit, have you been familiar with this investigation?
Yes, sir, I am.
And I understand that the process we're here at, a license revocation is sort of over here, but there is also a homicide investigation, a homicide prosecution going on, and there may be questions you're unable to answer based upon them being sensitive to the ongoing investigation.
Yes, sir, it's going to be very limited on details as to what I can share at this time.
Can you tell me who was the subject of this investigation?
As the suspect was Aaron D. Hill.
And do you know who Mr. Hill worked for?
He was employed that night by a Crew as a security personnel.
By what?
Sir?
Employed by whom?
At that night, he's working for Crew as a security personnel.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And do you know which company he was assigned, that Crew had hired to have him there?
Yes, sir, Grizzly.
And what
Who?
is?
I'm sorry, Captain.
Grizzly, I'm sorry.
Grizzly?
Grizzly Security, yes, sir.
Are they local?
No, sir.
And Investigator Sellers, is Grizzly licensed by the Alabama Security Regulatory Board?
They are not.
And was Aaron Hill licensed by that board?
He was not.
Is Mr. Hill known to law enforcement?
Yes, sir.
Do you know if Mr. Hill has felony convictions on his record?
Yes, sir, he does.
The people in this, in the videos we saw appear to be wearing some sort of SWAT or riot or tactical gear.
Yes, sir.
To your knowledge, are any of those people police officers?
No, sir.
After the beating of Mr. Little that we saw in this video, what happened next based upon the investigation?
Security took him and Jamonica Williams outside the business, so they were taken outside after the assault.
This time, Jacob, I ask you to put up the exterior photograph. Do you recognize this picture?
I do.
And what is this picture?
This is going to be a still shot of a security video that was taken at the entrance to the bar.
Time proximity, when is this screen capture taken in relation to the shooting?
This was seconds prior to the murder.
Can you identify the kind of three people we see here towards the bottom of this picture?
Yes, sir. The gentleman in the red is going to be DeAndre Dixon. The gentleman that's standing in the doorway, that's bald-headed, is going to be our suspect, Aaron Hill. And then the gentleman in the white T-shirt with red pants is the victim, Mr. Rashid Little.
How long after this shooting did the police arrive?
The shooting occurred at 1:04 approximately, and we were on scene at 1:08. When I say we, Tuscaloosa police officers, not VCU.
Was the security guard, Mr. Hill, whose head you see there, was he still on scene?
Mr. Hill had left when police arrived.
Was Mr. Little armed at the time of the shooting?
He was not.
Was anyone charged in relation to this shooting?
Yes, sir. Mr. Aaron Hill was charged with murder. Also, Ms. Thias Walker was charged with certain persons for concealing a weapon that was used.
I have no further questions for you, Captain Sellers. Mayor, the city has no further evidence to present, and I yield to Mr. Parsons.
Mr. Parsons, you have 45 minutes. You also have the opportunity to call any witnesses of the city attorney as your own witnesses and question them as well.
Thank you, Mayor. Council, first of all, I understand that some of the deceased families here and very sorry that you're having to listen to this, and extend my condolences to you for your loss. This is a very sad moment. Unfortunately, this is a moment of due process, as the judge stated, and so we're going to go forward to try to present, can you hear me?
Yeah, a little bit,
Try to present evidence to convince the council that the city has failed to carry its burden of proof. And I think that's important. It's not incumbent upon the licensee to prove that they were not creating a public nuisance, okay? It's incumbent upon the city to prove that the licensee was causing a public nuisance at the time of this incident. We give a little background first, and then I'm going to come back to that. The crew, which I'm going to call it crew because it's racked up as the name of the licensee, but I have trouble remembering that. So crew did receive licenses from the city after 2 hearing processes. And while those transcripts are part of the submission, Exhibit A, that was submitted to you, I submit to you that all of that is irrelevant for purposes of this hearing, because none of that goes to show that the actions of crew created a public nuisance. It is background. Obviously, each of you were probably here. You probably remember it. But that evidence is all irrelevant and has nothing to do with what we're here. We're focused in on what happened on this occasion, okay? And the allegation is that that crew was guilty of unlawful conduct, which unlawful conduct created a public nuisance. And public nuisance actually has a legal definition. I've actually read this to you before in another hearing. First of all, the Alabama Code, Section 65120, defines a nuisance as anything that works hurt, inconvenience, or damage to another. The fact that the act done may be otherwise be lawful does not keep it from being a nuisance. The inconvenience complained of must not be fanciful or such as would affect only a fastidious taste, but it should be such as would affect an ordinary reasonable man. But we're not talking about nuisance. We're talking about public nuisance. So the distinction there is in Section 6-5-121 of the Code of Alabama, where the code explains the differences. Nuisances are either public or private. A public nuisance is one which damages all persons who come within the sphere of its operation, though it may vary in its effects on individuals. A private nuisance is one limited in its injurious effects to one or few individuals. Generally, a public nuisance gives no right of action to any individual, but must be abated by a process instituted in the name of the state. A private nuisance gives a right of action to the person injured. I think that's important to understand that, because while we are all saddened by the death itself is not a public nuisance. It's very sad. Crew, in trying to keep its patrons safe, extra careful, hired a private security company. They hired 2 companies prior to this Grizzly company. Their requirements were that they have insurance and that they be licensed. I'm learning for the first time tonight from Officer Sellers that, according to his research, they weren't licensed. That's new to me. I think it's important to understand that the shooter, Mr. Hill, was not an employee of Crew. He was an employee of Grizzly Security. Crew did not hire him. Crew did not vet him. This was the first time he was ever on the premises. He had never been there before. To what Chief Blakeney says was being uncooperative was not being uncooperative. The man's name was not known because it was his first night there, and he wasn't employed by them. He was employed by the security company. Now, he characterized the public statement that was issued, which is, I believe it's the last page of the city submission, is throwing the security company under the bus and not taking any accountability. I'm not sure exactly what more he would have expected them to do other than to hire somebody that was in that business who they believed to be a valid security company to hire qualified people. In the notice for this hearing, as a matter of record, I want to point out several inconsistencies in the notice that Chief Blakely testified was served with the statement of facts that's on page 25 of the city's submission in Exhibit A. The facts that are on page 25 are not in dispute, except that you will hear from one of the witnesses that was there, the manager, that he was not aware that the capacity had been exceeded. And you also hear from the testimony that part of the responsibility of the security company was to use clickers, click in, click out, to monitor the number of people that were there. Based on the photograph that I saw in Exhibit A, it's kind of hard to say that there weren't more than 68 people there. I mean, I'd be an idiot to stand here and try to argue that to you. But I do ask you to ask yourself, does the fact that on that occasion, did that create a public nuisance? Does the fact that any of these bars exceed their capacity create public nuisances? I submit to you that many of them do. But in this particular circumstance, somebody unfortunately died. To point out the discrepancies, in the notice for what I thought I was coming up here to defend, it states that at least one of the Crew lounge owners was present and close to the security guard when the shooting occurred. That owner also left the scene prior to the arrival of police. That's false. That didn't happen. There was only one owner present. The only person who left was the manager, and he left with TPD and was questioned for approximately 4 hours. That's DeAndre Dixon. He's not an owner, to set the record straight on that. Kevin Davis is an owner. He was the only owner present, and he was seen in the videos, and he attempted to defuse the situation, even physically pulled Hill's cousin off, the one that got charged with felony and possession, pulled her off and tried to get her to disengage, and she went right back into the fray. Says here that Crew Lounge was not cooperative with the police officers as they attempted to investigate the murder. I submit to you the fact that if Kevin Davis didn't know the name of an employee of the security company or the name of the security company, that doesn't mean that he was uncooperative. I just find that to be a very unfair characterization and generalization by the chief. I would add to that, though, that when the police got there, both DeAndre, the manager, and Kevin Davis did cooperate. They attempted to assist them to download the security camera footage, and Kevin, who was there, didn't have the technical knowledge to know how to do that, and Andrea Campbell drove down and was at the scene at like 3:30 and assisted TPD in downloading footage from the security camera. Both Kevin and Angela were there. The incident occurred somewhere about 1 o'clock. They were there working with TPD until after 4 a.m. in the morning. And as I stated, DeAndre Dixon went to TPD, gave a statement, and he tells me that he was there for almost 4 hours. So other than not knowing the name of Mr. Hill, I don't know why that characterization is being made other than to try to prejudice Crew in this hearing. In fact, you'll hear them state that the owners are involved in law enforcement in the fact that between them, 3 of them have been in prison guards in for the federal prison system for at least 10 years, and one of them's been involved in 15 years. So they are respectful of law enforcement, and they would in no way have intentionally tried to be uncooperative. So I wanted to, for the record, I wanted to state that discrepancy as to being different from the notice as to what's in your package. And from a factual standpoint, I want to be very clear that nobody with Crew left the scene. They were there and cooperated. All right. So I want to talk a little bit about the crime and the fact that, as a matter of law, the crime that's committed by a third person on somebody's premises cannot be imputed to the owner of that of the premises. There's no question that a heinous crime occurred here, but that crime was not caused by Crew or any of its owners or any of its employees. I also heard officers, Sellers testify, or maybe it was the chief, that Mr. Hill was a felon. I didn't see anything in the packet showing that he was a felon. The only thing I saw that he was convicted of a misdemeanor possession case, and that he did have a felony charge pending against him, which is alarming to me, but characterizing him as an armed felon for having a conviction of, a misdemeanor conviction, that's not the same. Now, I stand to be corrected if they want to provide you some information. And I'm not defending him, I just want to make sure that we're all understanding what we know. And what we know from this submission is there's nothing to show that he was a convicted felon, and I'm certainly not defending him. I think you'll hear from the testimony, and I'm going to call my first witness, that neither of the two employees that were there could have done anything to have prevented the killing. The killing happened in a matter of seconds. And what you'll hear is that after the deceased was removed and was outside, DeAndre Dixon was outside with him, along with the person who he was there with. And he was attempting to calm them down, and he'll testify that at one more minute he would be calm, and the next minute he'd become excited, and he'd have to threaten to call the police. So he's standing outside, standing in front of the door, and at some point, then the door opens, and Mr. Hill was at the door, and the deceased approached him and appears to have attempted to spit on him, and then immediately Mr. Hill shot him. It happened that quick. I don't really know what any person could have done in that short period of time to have prevented this heinous crime from occurring. All right. I'm going to ask Mr. DeAndre Dixon to come, and I'm going to ask him some questions. Mr. Dixon, once again, Mr. Dixon's from Tuscaloosa. He was the manager. He was employed by Crew. You'll come, please. State your name and your address, and then I'm going to go over here and ask you.
How y'all doing? My name is DeAndre Dixon.
And if you would just give your address.
My address?
Yes, sir.
I live in Northport.
All right. Now, I need you to speak in that because I'm sort of like President Biden. I got trouble hearing and talking sometimes. So, all right. Mr.
What is
Dixon?
what is your address?
3902 Biscayne Hills Drive, Northport, Alabama.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Dixon, you were the manager for Crew on this occasion that we are talking about. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And did you have a prior occasion to know the deceased, Mr. Rasheed Little?
No, sir.
You did not know him? Had he been a patron in the at Crew prior?
Yes, I was informed that he has been there a few times.
All right. But you personally had not met him or did not know him prior to this occasion?
No, sir. Not to no.
All right. So on this occasion, did Crew have a private security company working there?
Yes, sir. Actually, just to, be straightforward, as far as security, we were trying to make sure that we got proper security in there. So this was actually our third attempt at making sure that we had the right company in there. This particular company might have been there maybe 2 weeks.
All right. And to your knowledge, had Aaron Hill ever been there prior to this occasion?
As far as like a customer or something like that?
No, as a security guard.
No, sir. This was his first occasion.
Had he been a customer?
No, sir. I don't. That's why I was asking. I don't
Okay.
know. He hasn't.
Yeah,
I never
no,
knew
we're
him.
talking about him being a security guard. And he wasn't employed by Crew, he was employed by Grizzly, right?
Yes, sir. Upon me taking the job and taking the opportunity with this, I was one of the first things I was informed was that Crew only hires third-party companies. They don't directly, which was something new to me, just being straightforward. And in doing so, like I said, that was our third attempt of making sure we got it right. So yes, he was hired by a security company, not us.
And was one of the responsibilities of the security company to manage the number of patrons that were coming in and going out of the facility?
Yes, sir.
And were they provided with counting clickers?
Counting clicker and a scanner.
All right. And just briefly, I want you to address what the chief was talking about with the reservation system. So is it true that the patrons that come there are supposed to have reservations?
Yes, sir.
All right. And so did y'all have a reservation system?
Yes, sir.
Were people allowed to obtain reservations on the spot?
If they were available or if they sat at the bar.
All right.
The bar was always first on, first served.
All right. They were available or they sat at the bar? All right. And so, and you need to give a verbal response, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. And so at Crew, just so the council will know, was this a restaurant and a lounge?
Yes, sir. It is a restaurant and lounge.
All right. And how late did you serve food?
We normally shut the kitchen down an hour before we close. So the latest, depending on the day, Monday through Thursday, the kitchen will normally close around 11, if I'm not mistaken, or 12. On the weekends, it'll close at 1.
All right. And so on this occasion, the restaurant was actually open till 1 o'clock, about the time that this incident occurred. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. And are there tables in there where people can sit down and eat?
Yes, sir.
All right. And on this occasion, was there live entertainment there, or was it music, or what?
Yes, sir. It was music.
All right, but
DJ.
no live entertainment?
Nothing live. We just have a DJ play music.
All right, so there was a DJ play music. Okay. All right, so let's get down to what you observed when you first saw Mr. Hill engaged with Rasheed Little, if you can recall.
Yes, sir. And just to be straightforward with each and every person here, I'm here. Unfortunately, I have to live with the fact of seeing a man lose his life. That's not something that I can tolerate. And so, unfortunately, I don't know your name, sir, but I really would appreciate it, because I've been dealing with a lot since the situation personally with misinformation to the point where I haven't been right mentally. So, I really would appreciate it as a city representative would have gave me a call, and I would have told you more, because I don't want to be painted as something that I stand for.
I would ask that you direct
Yes,
your
sir.
comments.
Yes, sir. And I didn't mean no harm by that, but I'm just telling the truth. But yes, I'm here, unfortunately, because a man lost his life and he did not deserve to lose his life. And unfortunately, through the actions of someone else, his livelihoods as well is being affected by this as well. So
All
that's
right,
why I'm here.
let's go back to the question. I
Yes, sir.
appreciate that. You've been affected, just as a number of people have.
Right.
All right, but please, and let's not string this out, because we got limited time. We got 20 minutes left, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, so what did you first observe when you saw Rasheed Little and Mr. Hill being physically confrontational?
Yes, sir. So at that moment, I happened to be in that area, but I didn't know what was going on until it actually happened. But at that moment, when the altercation did happen, Mr. Hill and was engaged in, you know, physical altercation with him, and it was just them two originally. And at that point, I guess the other security might have seen the situation that was going on, so they walked over, and they came over and was, as you can see in the video, I guess they were trying to disengage and, you know, do what they can. Unfortunately, it looks how it looks, but all I know is that the situation started, and when it was starting, I noticed that at one point he brought up the music situation. I, at that point, noticed that a few people had their phones out, so in my mind, instantly, because you're not expecting nothing like that to happen, in my mind, the reason why I went like that was more so because I didn't know who I was in this situation. I was trying to take the attention off and get it de-escalated as quick as possible. I didn't mean any harm or no intention by doing that. But in that instance, like I said, they got into an altercation. The other two security guards came over, as you can see. The young lady was trying to help as well. We was trying to get her disengaged, and at that point, when I realized that it was nothing I can genuinely do, I walked away and I started trying to clear a path so we can, because it was furniture and stuff knocked all over the place that would have made it harder for them to, you know, get them out of the club. So I tried to clear a path so it can de-escalate as quick as possible and open the door as well, and that's when they got them outside.
All right, during that process, did you try to remove any of the people who were involved in the melee?
Yes, sir. Unfortunately, the first thing I noticed, I saw a female, and I noticed it was like 3 guys at that point. So in my mind, I was like, man, let me try to get her up. But I realized she wasn't gonna get up. She was trying to protect her friend, a family member. So I didn't want to seem like I was pulling on her. So that's when I stopped and walked away and tried to clear the path. But I did notice that she was in it. I wanted to try to get her out of it, but she didn't want to move. So
Did you ask her to get out?
yeah, we were trying. Me and
Don't
Kate,
get so close to the
yes, sir.
microphone.
Me and KD, Kevin both tried to get her, but it wasn't gonna happen. That's why we said, well, let's figure out a way to just get this de-escalated as quick as possible.
All right, so let's move forward. Mr. Little is removed. He's outside. Did you then go outside and attempt to calm him down and ask him to leave the premises?
Yeah, well, yes, sir, because I noticed after the incident happened, I didn't want anything else to happen because I couldn't believe that had actually occurred. So I was trying to stop them from, like, I didn't want nobody to come back in, nobody to go back out. I was trying to de-escalate it. But, you know, and they was at the door or whatever, and I was just trying to, you know, try to get them to talk to me and calm down. And
Did Mr. Little attempt to go back in?
Mr. Who?
Rashid.
They were standing at the door, him and his friend. I'm a family member, I'm sorry, but I don't know what was going on. I just didn't want to risk a chance if they did go back in, another altercation. That's why I was just trying to ask them to, like.
So you're outside talking to him. Are you standing in front of the door?
Yes, sir.
All right. And then what happens? Does the door open?
Yes, sir. I noticed the door open, and at first I didn't open it, but I kind of got like a strong push behind me, and I looked, and there was a young lady exiting, and my owner was letting her out of the building. She wanted to leave, so, and when I noticed that it was him beside me, I then, like, you know, my guard kind of, you know, I was like, okay, this is the owner beside me. And then literally out of nowhere, Aaron popped up out of nowhere, and that's when it just happened that quick.
All right, so you're standing at the door, and Kevin is letting a patron out. He's at the door, and then all of a sudden, Aaron Hill appears at the door, right? And say yes or no, please.
Yes, sir.
All right. And then did Mr. Hill and Mr. Little then have a conversation? What happened?
Honestly, the situation happened so fast.
Not
Yes,
too
sir.
close.
The situation happened so fast is when I noticed that when I looked and I did notice that Hill was behind me, I started moving over because I didn't want him to have, like, I was trying to block them too when I seen that they had started having a verbal altercation. Like, Literally within like, from what I can remember, literally within like 5 to 10 seconds, a shot went off right by my head. To the point, if I would have slid over more, he would have shot me.
So the shot went right by your head?
Yes, sir.
And then the deceased took a few steps and fell out, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. And then 911 was called.
Yes, sir. And like
All
I
right.
said, when he let go of the shot, my back was to him. I was literally just sliding. When I noticed and I saw him, my back was to him, and I slid over trying to block him from coming out, and he did it.
Did you go to the deceased and see if you could tend to him or help him any way? Was he unconscious?
At the moment when the shot first went off, everybody, it sent all us into a shock. And when I did go back outside, that's when I noticed that because honestly, I was praying when I heard it. Just being honest with you, I didn't really know what happened. I just heard it, and everything went quick. And when I saw him move the first time, I was praying that he actually had missed him. But when I went back out, I seen what happened.
All right. So just quickly, when the police got there, did you cooperate with the police and in their investigation?
Yes, sir. No one ever left except for the shooter. He left the scene. We didn't even know that he left the scene. I never left the scene. I know that was reported, but I never left the scene. We cooperated. I actually, when TPD asked me to come down to the police station, I actually rode with them to the police station. That's the only time I left.
All right. No further questions.
Mr. Parsons, would you like to call someone else?
I would. Give me a second.
Yes.
All right, so this is Kevin Davis. He's one of the owners. Kevin, can you state your name and your address?
Kevin Davis, Kellerson, Alabama.
What's your address in Jemison?
2762 Kellerson, Alabama.
Are you one of the owners of Crew?
Yes, sir, I am.
Were you present on the occasion we've been talking about?
Yes, sir.
All right. And on that occasion, were you guys short some employees?
Yes, sir. We were short a cook, so I was back. I helped out a little bit.
So were you spent some time in the kitchen that night, is that
Yes.
right?
Yes, sir.
And was the kitchen open up until the time of this incident occurred?
Until we closed at 1.
Okay, and the incident occurred right after 1, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. And you saw the videos, you were present when some of this happened, is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Did you see the altercation when they were fighting on the floor?
Yes, sir. I saw
All
the
right.
altercation.
And is it true that the deceased actually was getting the better of Aaron Hill initially and was on top of him and choking him?
Yes, sir. I know on the video you can only see the guys on top, but I hate this situation happened, but yes, sir, he was on top of them, hitting them and choking them, so they were into it. So that's why you see the security guards, the other two trying to get them off of it.
So the other two security guards got involved when the deceased was on top of Mr. Hill and was choking him and getting the better of him, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And then it took the three of them to get him out, is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right, and so just immediately prior to the shooting, were you present at the front door and had you just gone there to let a patron out?
Yes, sir, I would.
All right. And did you see Mr. Hill actually shoot Mr. Little?
I didn't actually see him because it happened so quick. He pulled his gun and shot him.
Did you have any indication prior to this happening that Mr. Hill was going to pull his gun and shoot Mr. Little?
No, sir.
All right. Do you know of anything that you could have done at that minute to prevent this from happening?
No, sir. It happened so quick.
All right.
But I know we would never want something like this to happen, but it happened.
All right. No further questions.
I got something else I want to say. Like I said, I'm one of the owners, and we put a lot of hard work in this, and we didn't mean for this to happen. And I know they saying the numbers, but we've been open for 6 months. We never had an incident, never had them come out and count where we were, in the wrong. So like I said, everything been running smooth, and the security does this. Now everything we don't work for is on the line. When we really didn't cause this, like I said, we've been open for 6 months. Everything been smooth. We never had any problems. The police never had to come out and shut us down. And like I said, this incident happened, and we really didn't have no control over this. But we did what we supposed to do by hiring a security company that was insured. But that's all I really have to say, and I am sorry to the family that this happened.
I got 8 minutes left. I'm sorry this is taking so long, but this is important to a lot of people. Andrea Campbell, who's one of the owners, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, state your name and your address, please.
Andrea Campbell, 5137 6th Avenue South.
Do you have something you want to say?
Yes, sir.
All right.
First off, I want to say my condolences to the little family. And I'm sorry this happening. I'm a business owner, but I'm a human being first. And we would never want this to happen to anyone, especially someone that's part of my community, which is the LGBTQ. We don't tolerate hate, and we would not call it such. Crew Tuscaloosa, we believe in family. The news been saying some hateful things about us, but at the end of the day, we're a family. We like to have fun, and we love each other. We don't tolerate no type of hate at all.
And you're saying that because there's been some stuff in social media about this being some type of hate crime, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Do you have anything else you want to add?
No, sir.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor. That's all we have.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Parsons. I would like to request a recess for 10 minutes. And so in a second, I'll be asking for a motion in a second. To everyone that's out there in the audience tonight, when we recess, there will be no council discussions regarding this matter, and no deliberations. If you need to find the restroom facilities, you go out the hallway here, take a right, and then you will go straight down the hallway, and the restrooms will be on your left. Certainly, team members with the city can assist you. I am going to ask Mr. Parsons and Mr. Holmes if I could speak with you briefly during the recess, along with Chief Blankley, just briefly in my office. So at this point, we will reconvene at 7:25 once we get a motion and a second from the City Council.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and second, voting Mr. Wilson to recess.
Yes.
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 Council's recess, 7:25. If everybody would come in, we appreciate everyone's patience. We know some other people may be coming in, but it's 7:25, so we're going to go ahead. If I can ask everyone to make certain their cell phones are on silent. We appreciate everyone's patience. I ask that everyone please at this time allow the proceeding to continue. At this point, we will now have
Mayor, we'll need a motion to reconvene.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. That's why she is here. Do I hear a motion to reconvene?
Make a motion.
Second.
Moved and second to reconvene. Voting, Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
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 We are now reconvened. Thank you, Ms. Johnson. And so now we will begin the public comment portion of this hearing. Members of the public, it is frankly first come, first served. Each member of the public will be asked to give your name and address. You will have no more or up to 2 minutes to address the city council. As everyone has done very, very well tonight, we ask again that the comments be on target, on point, and respectful of the due process that is being exercised here tonight. So with that being said, anyone who would like to address City Council may come to the podium, and we'll begin the public hearing. If you would, please give your name and address.
My name is Lisa Champion. My address is 4205 Richmond Street, Northport, Alabama. I am here to represent the businesses that surround the Crew Lounge. My business is specifically right behind them. Since we are directly behind them, I'm the district manager for a staffing company there. We have had significant problems since they have been in business. We dodge glass every morning after in the parking lot. We've had several issues. We have people that are not willing to work late because being scared because we are literally just, that close to them. So not to mention you have a dialysis center in that complex as well as a children's dance center. And so it's just not, in my opinion, a good mix of businesses in that area. Since they have been closed, the parking lot has been a lot cleaner, and we have not had any issues with glass and debris all around our door and parking lot.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Champion. Anyone else wish to address their city council tonight regarding the revocation hearing? If you would, please give your name and address.
Hello, my name is Chastity Bakes, 1800 Links Boulevard.
And excuse me, we just need one at a time if you wouldn't mind. So one.
Okay. Okay, so my 2 minutes are starting. First, I would like to send my condolences to the family. Nobody ever really wants to be in this situation. It is very unfortunate. And with that said, I would also like to speak up for crew and speak up for my crewbies, as well as myself, as well as our character, as well as what I know we have done for this community, how we have taken part. We have been there for the children. We have gone into the YMCA here in Tuscaloosa, done community service, helped clean, various things of that nature, even just amongst ourselves as employees together. Like Campbell said earlier, we are a family and we pride ourselves on that. There are several times where this person or that person needed something, and even extending beyond crew, we've extended that same type of help and grace to the people that have came in. And as far as Mr. Little, I'm a host at crew. I see quite a bit of everybody that comes in. I know faces, I remember names. And he was a very, very happy, energetic person. He always came in laughing with good spirits, smiles, and he was there quite frequently. So I would just say, in my opinion, I don't think that he would want to see crew go. I think he would want to see how we can make this come together as a community, how we can work together, how we can build together. It doesn't help to just cancel something or to take away somebody's license. That does not bring him back. How do we move forward together within ourselves as a community? That's all I have to say.
Thank you. If you would, please come forward and give your name and address.
My name is Tamala Davis. Address is 2705 Short 16th Street, Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm coming to you tonight asking that you shut down crew. I understand the security was the one who shot Rasheed Little. The staff, the owners, the managers, they all hold a hand in his death. No background check on the people who are working for you. I feel as though once you hire someone, although they're not employed by crew, they were there representing you that night. The fact that no one thought to stop playing the music during the violent act of crime. The managers being present, the managers being present, not handling the safety of everyone, not just Rasheed Little. This is the first occurrence that has been made public. How many other incidents have there been that wasn't made public? Do we want to continue to allow our safety to be put in the danger in the hands of crew by the lack of their ability and accountability? I just would like to say that imagine your daughter or son not coming home. Instead, they're humiliated, jumped, beaten, and then shot. Imagine your son or daughter not coming home, and the establishment that holds a hand in this to remain open? No. Thank you.
Anybody else would like to address their city council tonight? If you would, please give your name and address.
Sir. Good evening. I'm Alan Bailey, address 2900 Farquhar Drive, Atlanta, Georgia. Come before you guys. I got 2 minutes. I came a year ago. Honestly, I'm a little shaken by the incident. Once again, my condolences to the family, but as a person from this community, I share with you guys, I grew up here. Flatwood Elementary School to Lloydwood to Tuscaloosa County High. So to be able to say I'm a part of this community, I grew up, I know this community. And for all these people, I know it's a sad situation for sure. But to speak on behalf of these owners, their character, I just wanted to speak on their character because honestly, like I said, for you guys that don't know in this part, I'm also been around crew and involved with the community. And it's just sad to hear that some of these owners have got calls after calls from media and then get one call at all when they try to give back to this same community that's trying to tear them down. When they did community service.
If you would, sir, if you would address the city council.
I'm sorry. When they did community service, they reached out to 12 newscast people. Nobody responded. But within an incident, it's 4 to 5 news people ready to go in it. So I just want to speak on the character of people when it truly comes down to saying, hey, what are they doing for the community? Outside of that, the manager, I can't, like I said, I won't speak on to details, but I've been in the entertainment industry and in environments. When you put in a certain situation with the music, I know they just spoke about music. I just want to say, in my personal, like I said, opinion, being in this industry, when you cut music or do anything, it causes more commotion. It causes people to get more involved because, once again, it's a disturbance. If I'm in this building right now and we're speaking and we're in an altercation with each other and I'm in the back area, I don't know what's going on with this altercation. Why? Because I'm in the back area. But as soon as I isolate it or I stop speaking right now, it's going to cause that. So,
Thank you. Anyone else wish to address City Council tonight? If you would, please give your name and address.
Hello, my name is Malaysia Sherman. My address is 822 18th Street. I am here to speak on behalf of Crew Lounge. I am a cook there. And the incident itself, I'm very sorry that it happened. No one expects anything like that to happen, but also at the same time, like, some things we don't have full control over. There have been several different things that go on all around Tuscaloosa. There was just a shooting maybe about 2 weeks ago at another area, a mini fire at another area. Like, some things that happen we don't really have full control over. I was not really familiar with Mr. Hill, so I can't really speak on him or his character or why he would do such a thing. But I do know for sure that this situation has affected all of us. It has affected the family of Mr. Little, and I'm so sorry that this has happened, but it has also affected the family of Crew as well, because no one deserves it. Like, I don't feel like we deserve to be shut down because of something that this person did. I can't say that if I was there, this would have happened differently or that would have, because nobody knows what would happen. Nobody knows that it was going to happen, and nobody knows what to do to prevent anything from happening. But I just once again want to say that I'm sorry to Mr. Little's family, and as far as us here at Crew, we are very caring people. We have reached out, we have done things, and I mean, we really are trying, we have tried, and once again, I'm sorry, and I really do hope that we can keep our license because this is my family as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to address their City Council? If you would, please give your name and address.
My name is Mary Walker. I am the auntie of Rashid Little. I come to you asking you to close this club down, please.
Ms. Walker, may I please get your address?
My address is 3201 44th Place East, Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Thank you, Ms. Walker.
I come to you tonight to ask you to close this club down. With the managers and all that was there when my nephew was being beat, stomped, and just done all kind of ways, it should have been a 911 call. To me, if they had called the police, all of it would have been deactivated. The security did shoot him, but the club managers should have deactivated the music, stopped everything, and got the police there to fix this problem. I'm just too overwhelmed. I'm I never see my nephew again. I'm just shook up. I want y'all to close it down. Close it down. Close it down.
Anyone else wish to address their City Council tonight? If you would, please give your name and address.
Hello, everybody. My address is, let me think of my address because I almost forgot. I live at, what my address? 417 Dogwood Lane, Unit A, and it's Tuscaloosa, Alabama, 35405.
And
my name is Cora Stevens. Rashid Little is my grandson. This was a really bad situation to me concerning, if I could get out my head, how he got shot and what was happening, all that stomping and stuff they were doing, and I was not there. I couldn't be there to help him, and he didn't have anybody else to help him. And it bothers me because Rashid, he bought him a sewing machine. He was thinking about, making clothes and stuff, having his own company and all of that, and he could cook. He got the cooking from me, but he can cook. His mom can cook too, but he got it from me. But let me tell you something. Rashid, loved me and I loved him. I'm his grandmother. I'm not his friend. I'm his grandmother. And you have to understand, when all this stuff happens like this, sometimes you got to try to take precautions and stop all this stuff because we killing, excuse the expression, one another. And we killing each other. So what's wrong? My grandson won't even come back home no more. I cook, he come all the time, say, Grandma, you cook? He come and get him a plate. He got a key. He would come in my house. And he said, Grandma, you cook? I said, yeah, Rashid. He would say, I said, you gonna pay me? He said, Grandma, I ain't got no money. You know, I ain't got no cash. I got a card. I said, well, you need to get more on the card and go get the money and get some groceries. I don't have nobody to talk to. He come and saw about me and watched over me. And it bothered me, y'all, honest to God. So it bothered me so very bad. I'm trying, God, I'm trying. I'm really trying to get over this, but it's not that easy. And I don't want that to happen to me because I need to be here for the rest of my family.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm asking y'all to pray for us, please.
Thank you.
Pray for us, God. God bless y'all.
Thank you. Does anyone else wish to address City Council tonight? If you would, please give your name and address.
Yes, my name is Jocelyn Wynn. My address is 3207 Colony Park Drive. I actually stay in Birmingham. I am speaking on behalf of Crew Lounge. First off, I want to send my condolences to the Little family. It is very unfortunate what happened. Trust and believe the Crew family has been just as saddened by the events that happened that night as you all have been. I don't want to get up here and repeat the same stuff that's already been said. Again, this is something that nobody could have told, nobody could guess that would happen. I do want to make one point, though, about the parking lot, the glass in the parking lot. The parking lot is cleaned every night by someone on staff that night. There's probably video footage of that because there's cameras outside. The parking lot is cleaned every night before we close. And also, all the businesses in that shopping center, they're all, by the time we open in the evening, they're nowhere near even being open. They had already been closed. Everybody has vacated the buildings and everything. So I just wanted to speak on that fact that was stated earlier. Again, the Crew family has been very sad about what has happened, and this has impacted us all. And I also don't feel like we should be closed because of something like Malaysia stated. This has happened at multiple other lounges and bars and clubs in Tuscaloosa, and those places are still open. So I feel like we should be given another chance, just like those places are also given another chance. That's all I got to say.
Thank you. Does anyone else wish to address City Council tonight? If you would, please give your name and address.
Katrina Stevens, 2902 19th Street, Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I'm speaking on behalf of my sister, and in her opinion, she thinks that Crew should not open because of Crew's irresponsibility of hiring a security team, which maybe we're not sure if they were felons or not, but one of them has a background and had no knowledge or directive on how to defuse the situation. If thorough backgrounds would have been initiated, maybe Rashid would still be here. And to say, if you do reopen, I mean, who's to say that there won't be another company that you hire if you're not doing background checks on these people as to what they will or won't do? And I know you have no control over it. Rashid was a really good kid, and she feels that it was a hate crime because they all jumped on him, not one officer. If him and one officer were into it, what happened to the other 3 officers that should have been diffusing those 2 instead of, and then once you put them out the club, how did the shooting take place? So, I mean, there's a lot of questions, and we appreciate all the condolences that you all give, but that doesn't bring Rashid back, and it doesn't keep other patrons out of harm's way. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else wish to address their City Council tonight? If you would, please come forward and give your name and address.
Yes, Jayla Morris, 1080 Hayes Road, Talladega, Alabama. Crew was brought to Tuscaloosa to create a fun and safe environment for mature adults to come and enjoy themselves with family and friends. We, as Crew Tuscaloosa, do not tolerate discrimination in any way, shape, or form. Despite the recent headlines and stories regarding to Crew Tuscaloosa, we have been a place of entertainment for our staff, guests, as well as a place of stability for our staff. I, as well as our Crew family and supporting customers, are seeking another opportunity to prove to the city of Tuscaloosa that Crew Tuscaloosa belongs here. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that wishes to address the city council tonight? Okay, seeing none, at this point, we will close the public hearing. At this time, does the city council wish to recall a witness for questioning or pose additional questions to the city attorney, licensee, or the licensee's counsel?
I have a question. I'm not sure who to address it to. I assume one of the owners. My memory of that club is it's about a 65 capacity. And I think when we were presented a decision on whether or not to license it, we figured there would be 12-ish employees. So we felt like the clientele population would be around somewhere in the low 50s. How many security guards were present that night? Were they all armed? And were they all in flat?
Mr. Parsons, you may use the center podium, and if there are questions for Mr. Holmes, we'll just allow him to use the podium to my right.
Yeah, I'm going to answer that because it's probably going to be the quickest answer, okay? So the capacity was 68, okay? And all three of the guards were armed. Was there another question?
And they were all in flak jackets, it looked like.
I think I don't really know.
The question is that, to a layman, that seems like an excessive amount of armed security for a club that size. Why was there a feeling that that level of armed security needed to be present?
You know, I've had this conversation with the owners, and it was, in this case, it didn't work, but better be safe than sorry. Having more than less, while it costs more, you feel that your facility and your patrons are safer with more than less. So 3 was better than 2. But I'm not aware of any prior incidences that would indicate that, you know, there were problems.
Thank you, Mr. Parsons.
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Wilson.
Yes, sir. Along those lines, I'm going to read something that's in the record on page 11. And Mr. Parsons, you may come back. Councilor Howard said, when it comes to security or problems at this location, do you have plans, any plans about security in your parking lots or lots outside of your establishment? Like, what is it going to look like? Mr. Alan Bailey, who is present, spoke about the character. And his statement was, yes, so I can share. We have reached out to some companies already for our security, but we will for sure have security inside the facility as well as outside. And when I say outside, and not just from a corporate standpoint, Crew, we have patrols. So it's not just saying outside facility, actually patrolling the facility. So monitoring the parking lot and not just being stationary. Therefore, my question tonight to you is, were there patrols of security patrolling the area that night based on what was told to us as the city council?
I can tell you that 2 of the security guards were mostly stationed outside because they were doing the ID and clicking outside, and part of their responsibility was to monitor the parking lot. But as far as somebody driving through in addition to the 3 security guards, no. Was that the question?
So at the time of the murder, was there actual patrols patrolling this area?
Okay. So my counsel reminded me, I think this is, Mr. Wilson, I think this is what you're looking at. So the protocol was, once they closed, the security company would patrol the parking lot until the area was cleared and the employees were gone. In this particular occasion, they had not yet closed. The closing was at 2 a.m. So it was before they normally would have their patrol. They patrol after 2.
Any other questions for Mr. Parsons or Mr. Holmes? Or for the licensees? All right, thank you, Mr. Parsons.
Thank you.
At this time, we will close questions from the city council. Before I call for a vote, any statements by city council members? Seeing none, voting on the revocation, beginning with Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
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 Okay, the business license revocation is adopted by the city council. Citizens' comments and other communications. Any citizens wish to address city council tonight? Seeing none, subject to the exercise of mayoral veto and ordinances of the general nature of permanent operational, applicable departments hereby ordered to otherwise implement council policy this day enacted. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded to adjourn. Voting, Mr. Lanier.
Yes.
Yes.
Meeting's adjourned.